Series here on News Nation focusing on missing person cases that were not getting national attention. We are continuing that series every Thursday here on News Nation Live. And this morning, we are revisiting a case that still remains a mystery nearly 16 months later. It is the story of a young geologist named Daniel Robinson, who vanished in the Arizona desert. And in a moment, Daniel's dad, David, will be joining me live. But first, a look at Daniel's disappearance. Tonight, we start our series, Missing in America, taking you to where the people were last seen, meeting these families and bringing you their stories. And we begin tonight with Daniel Robinson.
This is the area in Buckeye where his vehicle was found. This is remote. The terrain is extremely treacherous.
Daniel Robinson was 24 when he disappeared, a geologist working his dream job in the Arizona desert. A co-worker says Robinson left his job site on the morning of June 23, 2021. His Jeep, found a month later, crashed in a desert ravine. Robinson's keys, cell phone, and wallet were still inside, his clothing in a pile just outside the vehicle. But no sign of Daniel.
I do my job and find my son. He's my son, I'm his father, and it's my job.
For nearly 16 months, David Robinson hasn't given up on that job, searching the desert and bringing in his own private investigator. They took News Nation's Nancy Liu to the crash site. The investigator says too much doesn't add up, including red paint transfer on the side of the Jeep.
The vehicle was tipped over on the passenger side, so there's no red paint in this area. So how that got there, that's why I'm saying that vehicle did not crash here. That vehicle was, its last place of rest was here, but something was going on with that vehicle.
He notes other inconsistencies in the crash report.
The vehicle had 11 additional miles on it from the time the airbags deployed. It had 46 additional ignition cycles on it after the airbags deployed.
But Buckeye police say there's no evidence of foul play and have resisted a deeper investigation. The private investigator is also no longer on the case, but Robinson has finally convinced an outside law enforcement agency to go through Daniel's computer and cell phones for any clues.
They saw some of the things that I was seeing, and they wanted to look into it themselves.
While he waits for any information, he holds vigils.
As you guys know, I've been here over a year searching for Daniel.
And has organized dozens of searches.
Still don't have the answers that we're looking for, but we thank you for coming out here. It really means a lot to us.
Covering more than 23,000 acres, using four-wheelers and on foot. On at least two separate occasions, volunteers found human remains, which turned out not to be Daniel's.
Even though we didn't find Daniel, but it gave you some relief, a little, that, we was able to bring some other families some type of closure.
He raises money on GoFundMe and takes every opportunity to speak about his son's disappearance.
I was here to bring awareness to my son's case.
Even appearing at CrimeCon in Las Vegas. Robinson has created a robust social media presence, a sophisticated website documenting coverage of the case, and weekly live online updates, all to keep his and other cases in the spotlight.
I'm blessed that I have a small platform, especially on YouTube presence, as well as TikTok and Twitter. In that doing so, I'm able to also help other families. I had other families on my Q&A to be able to tell their stories as well.
This Army veteran with a new mission in life, one he says he'll never give up.
And no matter what, we will not leave a soldier behind. My son, he's my son, and I'm definitely not leaving him behind. That's thank you.
Local police investigating continue to say they have no evidence of foul play in Daniel's disappearance. Joining me now is Daniel's dad, David Robinson. David, you and I have spoken a number of times over the last year since Daniel's disappearance. By watching this story again, finding him must be all-consuming. You changed your life, moved across the country to search.
Yes, thank you for having me on. Yes, it's been very trying for me and my family, Daniel's siblings, his mother. It's been very trying being out here trying to get the answers that we're looking for. You can imagine after a year now still searching for Daniel and not having all the answers that we're looking for is very troubling in our mental state. It's really, really hard. struggling and working with the law enforcement on the outside of Buckeye, trying to get more law enforcement more involved to a point where there's an urgency there. I'm still looking for that urgency after a year. A lot of urgency that will definitely give me more answers, but I'm still on the job. I'm still on the job, putting on my investigative hat, as well as being a father, but also being able to help others as I'm taking this journey.
David, I said a moment ago, Buckeye Police, they have a timeline on their website. They say they're still actively investigating, but there's no evidence of foul play. After all of your investigative work and being so close to this case, do you believe that?
Well, according to my investigator, I did hire a private investigator, and all the information that we gave them from tangible evidence of the red transfer paint, for instance, 11 additional miles, pressure on the windshield, the fact that we don't even know it's Daniel's clothing that's on the ground, haven't been forensically tested. Those type things will, in my opinion, based on my family knowledge of my son. I've been there from the time he was born. We have a great indication about the way Daniel thinks. So you put all that things in combination, that will suggest foul play. Against what the Buckeye Police Department feel, I feel there's more to the story.
And you questioned, David, the timeline as well. What stands out to you that may be inaccurate about the timeline?
Well, one of the biggest things is the person that's last seen a person should be, that story should be vetted very well. And we later found out in my investigation, his story just didn't match the timeline. He said my son left, for instance, the well site at 9:15, but yet my son made a phone call, his final phone call to him at 9:28. Those calls and the desire my son sent a text message to ask for the location came unanswered. So again, like I said, my son called at 9:28. I'm assuming to ask for a direction. So the timeline is not right. When the timeline is not right, you really have to scrutinize that story a little more.
David, this is a tough question to ask, and I'm sorry for asking it, but do you feel as though Daniel is still alive?
I have to. That's the only one that's one of the things that keep me going. It's also crucial for my family, his mother. We're people of faith. We believe in God. We believe in miracles. Though sometimes I look at everything that I have evidence-wise that would suggest other things, I still keep that hope and that faith because we don't have those answers of where Daniel is located. So I always have to keep that faith that somehow I'm going to bring my son home alive. And I really want to believe that. And I'm going to continue to believe that.
I appreciate that. And David, as we look at pictures of Daniel on the screen, there's one video that I just love where he's standing outside and snow is falling on his face. He's got this great big smile. I want you to share with people at home your son, his personality, who he is, and what you miss most about him.
Yeah, Daniel's very free-spirited. You probably can tell by the pictures. He's loved by a lot of his friends. He's a very friendly person. He loves nature. That's the reason why he's a geologist. That's why he came out to Arizona. He wants to be able to be in tune with nature. Also, he's a very family-oriented person. He definitely keeps the family together. Like I said, he shows a lot of love to his family. We love him back. One thing I miss the most for me, on my perspective, is having a conversation with my son. My son always come to me. He come to his mother. He calls all the time. We keep in contact with each other. But for me, just having that 2-hour conversation that we normally have, where he's asking questions, he's wanting to know things, he get advice, his entrepreneur spirit, what he want to do in life. He always plan things and always look on the positive light. I miss those things about my son.
And do you think about what you would say to him now if he could hear you?
Yes, of course. I've been here over a year searching for you. I'm not giving up. He's my son. I love him dearly. I'm here to fight. That's what fathers do. He know I have his back, and I'm here for him. No matter what, I'm definitely here and want to make sure I bring him back. And I'm not going to let anyone stop me. I want him to know that.
Amen. David, you have become such a powerful voice for so many other families that you have come in contact with who are also trying to find their loved ones. What has that support and getting to know these families meant for you and giving you hope in your case as well?
Yes. One thing, it's always something light at the end of the tunnel. It's definitely been a long experience. But in that experience, when you're a person that just have a missing loved one in your family, you're unaware of what other people are going through as well. I found out this is not unique to my family. There's other struggling families that don't even have a voice, So be able to talk to people all the time and hear their stories, it caused me to be passionate. I couldn't be human without answering those calls. I just want to make sure that I'm helping the other families as much as I can through my journey. doing everything I can. That's the reason why I have the Daniel Robinson Foundation, as well as other events and things I do to try to make sure I can get other people's story out there. I'm very passionate about that. Want to help everybody I can. It's my duty and my journey as well to be able to do that.
Well, you're a great dad and you've got a big heart, and I know you've got a big support system behind you as well. And the most important thing is keeping Daniel's story in the headlines. We're glad to partner with you as you do that, David Robinson. Thank you for giving us some time.
I appreciate you. Thanks so much.
My best to you. And if you have any information on the location of Daniel, if you have any information in this case, the Buckeye Police Department are still actively investigating. You can also go online to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. And you can follow our
Daniel Robinson. I attend AC Flora, and I'm planning to major in geology at College of Charleston.
Good job.
my shelter from the storm. You keep me safe inside your wings. You are my comfort when life gets hard. You lead me to water to drink, and now I trust your gentle hand, even when I can't understand. I know your voice, I'm not afraid, walking with me at the same pace.
When the lights and camera turn off, I will be here. When the interest and conversation fade, I will be here. When there's no one around, a father will do anything it takes to be there for his son, to protect his family.
Daniel Robinson went missing 4 months ago. This is the last photo his family has of him. He's a 24-year-old geologist, last seen leaving his job site in Buckeye, Arizona.
As the Gabby Petito homicide case garners national attention, another young person has been missing for nearly 3 months, and his family is desperate to find him. 24-year-old Daniel Robinson, a geologist, was last seen on the morning of June 23rd, leaving his work site in the desert of Buckeye, Arizona.
David Robinson had only one thought on his mind as he drove the nearly 1,800 miles from his South Carolina home to Phoenix.
I had to find my son.
Yes, and I'm continually searching for him. Thank you guys for coming in this morning's Q&A. David Robinson. I'm the father of geologist Daniel Cornelius Robinson. My son Daniel, a native of South Carolina, graduated from the College of Charleston in Charleston, South Carolina. He graduated with honors in the degree of geology. My son decided to take his degree, his career, out into Arizona, very great state for geologists. To expand his horizons and to start his life. He landed his first job with a company called Matrix New World. It's also called Matrix Southwest Groundwater. My son's job, he got hired on as a field geologist, also called a hydrogeologist. My son, what his job is to go out to various well sites all over Arizona. Sometimes he works in the day, sometimes he works at night. But he gets sent to assigned to different well sites where most times he meet a representative from a drilling company, the persons who drilled the well itself, and in doing so, his job is to, like I said, check the water levels of those wells to make sure those wells are producing at least 100 years of water, something that is required by law in Arizona, especially when it comes to communities. Some communities have to even have 2 wells for each community. So my son's job is very important to check the viability of that well, as in the water, make sure the water is safe to drink. Those waters are tested and things like that. So job is very important. Matrix New World is an engineering company that hired geologists to do those type jobs. So, of course, my son on June the 23rd last year was assigned to go to 2 well sites As you guys know, according to them, he completed that first well site, and he also was assigned to go to a second well site where he ultimately became missing. According to the only person who was at that well site, he said my son met him out on Sun Valley Parkway near the Cactus Road area to go into the Sonoran Desert. They met out on the side of the road, had a brief conversation before heading off into the desert. My son followed him a mile in, 2 miles west and 2 miles north to get to this well site. Once they arrived at the well site, which he said was at roughly 9 o'clock in the morning. And when they got there, they had a brief conversation lasting 10 or so minutes about the weather. And he said that my son waved off to him where he was never ever seen again. Got his vehicle, drove off, never to be seen again. As you guys know, the vehicle right here, my son's Jeep Renegade, showed up farther into that desert, in the Sonoran Desert. It was almost about 3 miles away from that well site, found in a 20-foot ravine. And Earth is lying on the side here. You guys can see the clothing on the ground in front of the vehicle, about 3 feet. There was in a pile, also a safety vest and some boots. Those things were allegedly saying that those are Daniel's clothing items, and there's some other personal effects found with the clothing, as well as his cell phone, vehicle keys, etc., was found inside the vehicle, but no Daniel. Almost 30 days later. So you guys know that the dilemma that's going on with my family and I. We're going into another a year, this Thanksgiving. I'm saying without having Daniel at the table, that's going to be really rough if he's not found. So guys, you know how my family. I want you guys come straight up today. I want you to say a prayer for me and my family. Today is fast and prayer for Daniel. You guys can please, lift up the prayer, because we're going up to today is an anniversary for another month. So I don't like to say anniversary, but each month goes by as like the clock ticking for us as a family. Another month, Daniel is missing. It's been June. Here it is now, November. And so you guys, June made a year. June 23rd made a year. Here it is, November the 23rd. So, of course, another rough day for the family and his mother. You can imagine a mother not having her son. So I wish you guys to pray for her as well. His siblings don't have their brother. You need to pray for them as well. And myself as well, my son. So his grandmother, he had two, and his grandfather, his aunties and uncles all are wanting Daniel around. So just want to tell you guys, thank you guys, like I say, supporting this channel, coming in every Wednesday to support. I know it's kind of rough. Sometimes, you have to go back over the same things. That's what this channel is for, to tell Daniel's story, to get his story, keep his story out there alive. As you guys know, many families, it's not unique to the Robinson family. Many families go through the same thing. And the sad part is they don't have a voice. A lot of times these stories are swept under the rug, or they just go cold and dead, to the public, is what I'm saying. But these families are still suffering. These families are still looking for answers. They're still looking for a way to find their loved ones. And especially this time of the year, like I said, anytime the holidays coming up, as well as Daniel's, for instance, birthday is in January. So all of that kind of combination together, the new year coming in, etc. These families have to take that, every year. Like I said, Daniel's story went national for a while. Of course, the news media cycle is going to change some things. Things going to move on. However, like I said, being a father who's fighting for my son, I try to make sure that his story stays out there as much as possible. So that's why I have this YouTube channel, you guys. Those who don't know, who may be new to this channel, that's the reason why I have the YouTube channel, to keep Daniel's story alive. First of all, if you're new, I want you please hit that like, share, subscribe button as soon as you can. That will help with the algorithms, keep this channel growing. That's very important for my efforts to keep Daniel's story out there, because we can't let Daniel's case turn cold. One thing for sure, there's a lot of information out there, a lot of information I gave law enforcement. I'm just waiting on them to act on it. But there's a lot of things out there that suggest foul play. We gave them hard physical evidence that suggests foul play. We have the vehicle found on federal land. We have, just so much stuff, saying to help law enforcement to do their job. But one thing about it is they have to make sure I push them hard to keep pushing to get them to move on these things. So, so the whole point is, I had to keep going. You guys had to keep going, keep pushing this thing, keep Daniel's name relevant, and the reasons why you guys help as much as y'all can. I really appreciate that. The reason why I really definitely had to push out to the public is because as long as you guys keep interest in Daniel's case, they cannot sweep it under the rug. It would not go cold, especially with this, like I said, all the stuff that we have left that they can look into, and just reluctant to. And one of the biggest roadblocks, you guys, and is also when you guys call or write or things like that. It should just be a missing person case. That's one of the really one of the biggest roadblocks, is that this case is still after a year. Days has been missing over a year, and all the indications that we have with everything here with the vehicle, everything I'm saying as a father, knowing my son, all the evidence there. There's no other reason not to look into my son's case as possible criminal. If they don't want to accept the hard facts, I'm so law enforcement, they don't want to accept the hard facts that that we gave them, the hard physical evidence that would suggest foul play. They don't want to accept that. They can at least look into it. They don't want to move from just a plain missing person case and to upgrade his case in a manner where they can look farther into what happened. As I can tell from what everything I know, nobody has ever been in an interrogation room to be interrogated on their story or being scrutinized on their story, except me and my daughter. We was the only ones that was in the Buckeye Police Department's room, what you call those rooms when they interrogate you. So they don't want to put us in that room, asking us questions about his bank statement and so on, so on, so on. But I like to see other people there. I like to hear something to report where they called other people into the station and get these questions, get these answers. Also to look into these evidence that we have. But good part of you guys, after pushing so hard over a year, you guys have been helping as well. I was able to get the law enforcement agent outside of Buckeye to look into Dave's electronics. Everything you guys, so we've been working hard in that desert out there. Volunteers, we found 2 cell phones out there near that area where the vehicle was found, as well as Dave's cell phones out there in the vehicle, of course, that law enforcement recovered. Those things are being looked at. His cell phone been looked at again. So that's going to be looked into. I'm getting answers for that. You guys have a meeting coming up to get briefed on everything that was found on the electronics. All electronics in his household, all that stuff has been looked at by law enforcement. So I can't say you guys are the hard work. It took a year. It's sad to say, and that's the kind of thing I'm saying, you guys. You got to keep pushing as a family. You have to keep pushing. Sometimes you have to push. It's like a heavy train. If they don't have an engine to pull law enforcement to do something, they won't do it. So you have to actually push them to do some things like that. It took a year, but I was able to get those forensics done for all the electronics in his household, as well as what was found in the vehicle. One thing I'm working on right now, you guys, and I'm working hard to do so as well, is get the forensics done on the clothing items, because we don't identify those clothing as a family, and to make sure those Daniels, and also the boots, of course, and also the vehicle itself. Say there's the airbags, there's the just the interior of the vehicle itself. Just all kind of stuff. That's pressures on the windshield. We need to get those, find out, look at this kind of stuff. Also, the red transfer on paint on the vehicle itself. Things like that. The carpet fibers, the things that may be in there. So, but what I look at it, you guys, they're refusing to do those things to help out with those, is because, like I said, one of the biggest roadblocks is law enforcement do not want to call it even a criminal case. They don't want to upgrade it in any kind of form or fashion. I think I have some of those technical difficulties. I think I see some freeze ups up there. You guys, if it's there, I apologize. But there's no efforts to look into his case even farther. That's the reason why you guys have moved the case, been pushing really hard to have this case moved to a different jurisdiction. But the crazy part is not to a different jurisdiction. I'm getting want to remove to the proper jurisdiction, and the proper jurisdiction is if this vehicle is found on federal land. Of course, that's federal land. That's definitely that requires the federal government to come in to look in their part. There's also the fact that my son's missing in Maricopa County. The sheriff department, DPS, also Department of Public Safety, can take my son's case. It don't have to be Buckeye. Buckeye is a city. They don't have a jurisdiction over the sheriff department. They don't have a jurisdiction over DPS, Department of Public Safety. So those two agencies definitely have some saying in Daniel's case. Also, you guys, Tempe. My son is a resident of Tempe. And there's nothing in this story. If you guys look at the whole entirety of the story of Daniel going missing, there's nothing there that suggests or to prove that that's the last place that Daniel was seen is out there in that desert. And the reason why I say that, you can't just take a person's word. You just can't say you can't even take my word. You just got to go look at the facts. You got to go in and look at the evidence. And there's nothing. I don't see any cell phone pings that say this guy was really out there in that desert. They gave the story. I don't see any the text message that was back and forth and the phone calls, like I said, do not match what this guy was saying. So it's unreliable. When the story is unreliable, you cannot base a case on a story that's unreliable. When a person's changing their story, when things just don't match up, so that is unreliable. One thing that is reliable is facts. One thing is reliable also is physical evidence. The physical evidence that was found in Dane's apartment, for instance, would suggest somebody was looking for something. They know this stuff. Law enforcement know this stuff. But the Tempe Police Department, for instance, not even looking into what could possibly happen to their citizen in his apartment. So we just don't know. We just don't know, and I'm not suggesting anything, but I was going by what was found in the appearance of things that happened in Dane's apartment, for instance. That's in Tempe. It's not in Buckeye. Buckeye is supposed to be a place that Daniel was going to do a job. There's no indication. There's no cell phone pings. There's no nothing to say that Daniel was in Buckeye. The guys who have got put up pictures from a gas station to say he was pumping gas, right? But there's nothing to say that either, because if you look at those pictures, there's nothing to say that was actually Daniel's vehicle. And that definitely don't say anything that that's Daniel as pumping some $3 or whatever it was of gas in that pump. Because you guys can see that video, which y'all will be seeing that one day. There's nothing clear to say that was actually Daniel at that pump. So those type deals, without having all those facts and things like that, you cannot go base a whole case with a person's missing and the loved one saying they suspected foul play. To go by a story from one guy at a whale site who says he just waved off and just disappeared and never be seen again. So we're not going that way. But I want to come here this morning too, you guys, so not to go so far, is to say thank you again for coming in on the Q&A. Don't forget to hit that like, share, subscribe button. That really will help. Also, I just want to say this is a fast and prayer, Daniel. I do still see that hesitancy on the screen. So if I'm freezing up here, I apologize. My internet may be going a little haywire this morning. Let me see if I can turn some of this other stuff off. But just like I said, you guys, if you can't hit that like, share, subscribe button, that really will help. That definitely will help. Let me see if I can turn some of this bandwidth off. I don't know if my internet been having some issues for the last day or so. But yes, if you guys can't hit that like, share, subscribe button, that really will help the algorithms get Daniel's story out farther, and as well as help me as I can try to help other families as well. I'm still looking to help other families, you guys. I'm trying to get people on this Q&A to tell their stories. It's hard to get families to do so, but you know what? I'm still going to keep pushing that. I am pleased to say again with the Daniel Robinson Foundation, you guys, we're still looking for this launch date that we'll be launching. But it is everything with the Daniel Robinson Foundation is great. It's a go. And so right now we're in the process, like I said, of pushing launch date. So really, really excited about that, to be able to help other families. But today, fast and prayer for Daniel. You guys know that hashtag. If you guys can put that on your social media, it's right here on the bottom of the screen. Fast and prayer for Daniel. Uh-oh, I thought I had it up there. Here you go. There you go. It's on the screen itself. Fast and prayer for Daniel. You guys, if you can, add that to your social media and keep that going. Saying this is not just for Daniel. Like I say, I always say that. A lot of times, just say fast and prayer for Daniel, but I'm talking about other families too. Daniel is America's son. Reason I say that because what happened to me and my family happens to a lot of other families. It's not unique situation with Daniel going missing. It's hurtful to us, and my family is unique. It never happened to our family. So fast and prayer for Daniel is praying for everybody. I like to start at fast and prayer. If you guys want to join in with us, me and my team, we do this fast and prayer on Wednesdays. That's closer to the 23rd. The day happened to be the 23rd. And, wanted to put in this fast and prayer. And also to tell you guys happy Thanksgiving for those so I won't forget who's celebrating that with families, have give opportunities to spend time with your family, sit down at the dinner table. Really want to say that up front. But yes, I like to bring in the fast and prayer with their prayer. I like to pray in and pray for those families, pray for you guys. Because like I said, this is very hard for this time of the year, especially loved ones have their missing loved ones and just don't know where to look or what to think and things like that. So I just want to pray and bring in a fast and prayer for Daniel, fast and prayer for everyone else. And like I said, we can go on this fast and prayer today, asking God for answers, ask for this ourselves strength for families any families out there who have missing loved ones want to join in with me as well, just for strength to keep going. And then this evening, when I come in this evening's Q&A, we'll have a Q&A prime time this evening. You guys can come back then as well. I'll be praying again and in the fast and prayer because of the timing of the Q&A. But definitely, we want to pray. If you guys could join in with me right now. Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord, for life, health, and strength. We thank you for this new day. We thank you, God, Father God, for bringing us together in unity, because when there's unity, there's strength. We thank you, Heavenly Father, for all the families who are open their hearts and their mind to help other families in crisis and in need. We have missing loved ones. Daniel is missing over a year and some months now, Lord. We ask you, Heavenly Father, for answers to find him, his mother, his siblings, myself, our family. We're really hurt. We're crushed. And we ask you, Heavenly Father, to comfort our hearts and our mind and give me direction. I'm out and searching for my son, pushing hard, trying to do everything I can. And Heavenly Father, I need direction. I'm asking for direction, and I know you can give it to me, keep me going. I definitely thank you for all the people, like I said, that actually putting out their heart and helping me in this journey to keep going forward, to try to get these answers. I even want you to help law enforcement. They touch their heart and pull on their heartstrings and make them do better. Put in their heart to look into this case, work really hard, and asking Heavenly Father for that right now. Also, just want to say thank you for the other families who are going through, who's listening to my voice, those who are not. Asking Heavenly Father to bless them as well, give them the answers they're needing, comfort their heart as well. They are suffering. This is not unique to just our families. It's unique. It's everywhere. We have a big problem here in the United States. Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord, for blessing those families to comfort them and give them the directions. I'm really asking Heavenly Father to bless them and also bless these people who's joining in with prayer, who have their needs, but they still open their heart. They have a mind, an empathy for others. And I thank you, Heavenly Father, for them. Bless them right now that's listening to me, and bless them, Lord. For you know their needs, you know what they're looking for. And we ask you, Heavenly Father, to bless them and their families, because there's a lot of things going on in life. We may think we have one problem, but another person have another. And we thank you, Heavenly Father, for blessing them as well, comforting them. Asking Heavenly Father for all these things. In Jesus' name, pray, amen. Thank you guys for joining in on the prayer. And like I said, we're doing this fast and prayer for Daniel, but also fast and prayer for other families, because I really believe in prayer. I believe in fasting. Prayer give us intercessions to talk for others, talk to God, your higher power, for intercessions to help other families. You speak on their behalf, putting in a petition for those families, and definitely, like I said, you guys, I believe in prayer. Also, fasting. Fasting is good for your soul. It's good for your mind. Good for your heart. Even good for your body. So definitely fasting is to be able to give yourself strength, give you mental strength, physical strength, and so I believe in prayer, fasting. Fasting is the help of the prayer is because it's an action. You pray, you ask for one thing, it's almost like faith, and then you put some action into it. I believe I'm going to find my son in faith, and my action is to be out here in Arizona for over a year doing everything I can. I'm not perfect. I do things probably some people say, hey, I wouldn't do it that way. But I'm doing it that way. I'm doing it the way I'm doing it because God, He's always there, give me directions. I'm a novice. I'm not a person who automatically come with a manual to know exactly what to do to find my loved one, find my son. But I'm putting that effort in. So the faith with that action is very important, very, very important. So you guys can always take that with you as well is you have to put some action to your faith. So I just want to reach out to everybody in the comment section. I want to tell you thank you again for coming to this Q&A. As you guys can see on the bottom of the screen, there's the tip line. Also, you guys, for those person who may know something or heard something, I can finally say something. It's been over a year. Like I said, this is another month. And you guys can please use that tip line. It's an anonymous tip line or tip line you want to be anonymous, either or. You can call that number. That's live operated 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I pay for the service for you, just for you only, to give you information that you know where the whereabouts of my son and bring him back home. You can call these people. They're very kind, and they definitely will take your call. But if you want to be anonymous, they allow you to be anonymous also. If you don't want to talk to anyone, you can do like on the bottom of the screen here. You can text the word tip to that number off your cell phone or any cell pay phone, but whatever. Just text that number, tip, and tip to that number, and the form will come up, and you can still remain anonymous if you like. So please utilize this. Utilize this if you have answers. You know what happened to my son. I don't need the suggestions and things like that. I need the facts of people who know exactly firsthand what happened to my son. So you guys can do that. That really help my family come to a closure, and help you as well. Help you mentally. Get it off your chest. Get it off your mind, and go ahead and speak out against keeping quiet. Also, I guess again, thank you guys for coming out to this Q&A, supporting like you have been doing. I really appreciate that. Like I said, it's been a true blessing to me that you guys are supporting, because this is hard. Today is hard, especially, and to keep going, you guys. I'm telling you, your support, it means a lot. It means a lot to any family. I hope you guys can do that to other families as well. It's very important for a family, just like law enforcement. One thing I learned really quick is if even law enforcement, if they can just come, they don't have no attention, even they don't have attention to really help. This is the appearance of things. If you say, hey, look, I'm here for you, to speak, sometimes that motivates the family to do more for themselves, to try to help. So help them help themselves. So definitely, saying your words, your kindness, your generosity, all that matters. All that really matters, and I really appreciate you guys. I'm gonna say it over and over again. Every time I come on Q&A, I'm gonna try to say it as much as I can how appreciative I am from the people who was out there in that desert with me. I could name them one by one, but it'll take a long time. But it helps a lot of people. I met tons of people out there in the desert. Had some of my logistics coordinators and search coordinators, as well as people helping to search and line search. All the family, all the people who really strive really hard to help in this journey. So I never forget them. I'm really appreciative of every last one of them, and I'm really grateful for them, as well as you guys outside of the desert who's been getting these flyers, been calling and asking for these flyers and receiving them and putting them out there. That's been helping as well. All of you that's been donating. I would not have been able to fund anything, being able to stay in Arizona alone, and also to be able to do a desert searches, get those billboards, do everything I was doing out there in Arizona. I wouldn't be able to do all of that without you guys. So I'm really, again, I'm appreciative of that as well. So your heart and your love, you guys have been pouring in, and so much more. You're doing so much more, putting out these petitions, signing petitions, and going out and calling these departments, writing these letters, finding out information. I have some people even looking into the case themselves. So I'm really grateful for everybody's effort. This is not a one man's job. I'm a father, of course. I'm going to go off on it. as a one man's job. But you guys, like I said, without you guys, I would not have made it this far. So I really appreciate it. Appreciative to each and every one of you. Also, you have the contact number if you guys want to contact me. That's the contact number down as a public cell phone, as well as, and I've been getting to some of these messages. I'm proud of myself. I got a lot more to go. With the holidays in now, I can actually sit down, especially when I'm getting ready to sit with my family, watch some football or whatever. I can go through some of these text messages and things like that. Try to get caught up on some of you guys that have been sending messages ever since September, and I'm just now getting to it. So I apologize. You can see me right now. I really apologize. It's something I'm not just ignoring you guys. I'm trying my best to get these messages. But thank you so much for reaching out to me, and thank you for your information and et cetera. But that's a cell phone number there. You guys want to utilize that. Also, if you guys want flyers and things like that, the Please Help Find Daniel at yahoo.com is the way you can reach me at. My team is myself and my team. The team, they will also respond back to those emails. So thank you so much, you guys, for utilizing those two ways to contact me and for information, information, or you need some flyers or whatever the case may be. So I really appreciate you guys for that as well. And again, I want to get to the comment section and I want to answer some of your questions. So you have those questions, please, by all means, put the word question there before your question, capital letter Q. So question marks, capital letter Q, or like I said, the word question before your question, and that will help me as I'm coming down the comment section. I would like to get every question I can as possible. So please, by all means, if you can, I would appreciate that. So let me put this fast and prayer back up real quick. I want that to stay up there for a little bit. So here I go. First of all, I want to say thank you, Faith, for showing up here on this Q&A. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate your time. And this is a question. Like I say, you guys, if you have any questions, I'm gonna answer this question. But you guys have questions, put the letter Q and the letter Q, capital letter Q, word question, or some question marks before your question. That help. But thank you, Faith, because you're the first person I can see it. Okay, what does the FBI have to say? I hope they are looking into the vehicle cross state lines. This should be on Nancy Grace, and organizations should be on this. I want to let you know, Faye, yes, Daniel's story have been on Nancy Grace, and I'm really grateful for Nancy Grace for putting Daniel's story out there. I was on her show to put Daniel's story out there, so I'm really grateful to Nancy Grace and her team. They've been a very big help because she have a large audience, a large following, and anytime we get Daniel's story on any of those platforms, it helps out a whole lot. So hats off to her and her family. And I agree with you. The FBI should be doing this. They should be doing this. Federal land type deal. They should be doing this. My son's vehicle crossed the federal land. They should be out here into my son's case. The holdback to that, you guys, in my opinion, is the Buckeye Police Department. That was the holdback. You guys know that in the past, last year, I sent a letter out to the Buckeye Police Department, had my attorney look into that letter before I sent it off. And that letter was long. It was long. It wasn't super long, but it's long enough. It's long describing the case to the Chief Hall. Chief Hall, who's the chief at the time. I heard he's chief again. Chief at the time in the Buckeye Police Department's chief. Send a letter out to him. I CC the city manager, and so on, these higher up officials, to make sure he know that he received this email, as well as they know the content of this letter. And I sent that letter to show them all the things, even use his words on CNN. He put on CNN that he think there's a highly suspicious case, and and so on, his own opinions. And at the same time, wanted to show, I put into that letter the fact that my son went missing in the crime scene. This is all crime scene. You found a human skull right here near this vehicle was found. You found all in my searches, we've been finding other human remains as well, and bringing clothes to other people, finding the suspicious cell phones, to other items, clothing in the same manner near the well site. That was the same manner that my son's clothing, where the alleged clothes was found at this scene here. It is so much. It's so much that I was putting that to that letter. And also, so at the end of the letter, I formally requesting them to have a case review with the FBI. Chief Hall sent a letter back. He responded back, and I mean quickly. I give him that. He responded back and he said that he was having the FBI look into the case, and I was really happy. I put it on my had a family press conference. I was really happy about that to tell you guys the news that the FBI is coming to Daniel's case. Real excited to look into that case. Okay, so he said he's gonna have this case review. The same day he sent the response, my attorney crafted a letter, sent it directly to him immediately. Same day, not the next day or anything else. Same day, requesting to be part of this briefing that will be coming up. And Chief Hall, of course, and the Buckeye Police Department ignored that request. They went behind my back, and the request was that I'll be present, or if we both can be present, or I can just be present, either or. But I definitely need to be present as the father looking for my son. Need to be present in this case briefing with the FBI. The Buckeye Police Department, of course, did it behind my back because they don't want me there. Whatever they told the FBI, I say lies, they told the FBI, in my opinion. Whatever they told the FBI, they told me that the FBI told them. This is what directly from the FBI, and they saying, the Buckeye Police Department telling me that you, Mr. Robinson, are doing such a great job on your own. We don't need to come in, right? And that type deal. So that's offensive to me. It's offensive to me to hear that they saying the FBI feel like I'm doing a better job than they can do. And you know, I've been busting my behind out there in that desert, begging for funding from you guys. Been doing, I mean, all of that, trying to get resources, trying to get helicopters, cadaver dogs, so you name it, the specialized drones and all this kind of stuff. And to hear something like that was very devastating for me. It's embarrassing. I had to go back and tell my family that FBI is not coming into Daniel's case. It was really hurtful. So I said, what you said about the FBI? Yes, I've been petitioning that for near close when his vehicle was found. And so you know, yes, it did. In state lines itself, we got DPS, Department of Public Safety should be part of that as well. Like I said, with this whole matter of the way things are found, where this vehicle is located, the whole nature of this case, the vehicle was possibly, and I know it was 2 days before it showed up in this desert out there on the side on Verada Way over there, Jackrabbit Trail area, on the side of the road, and magically appeared in the desert. So we got all this stuff that's there for law enforcement to utilize, and there's reasons why they're not. So and that's the things I'm really pushing on you guys, and I have those reasons. But that's the problem. That's the problem, and that's what causing the hold up right there. But I want to say thank you so much for that question. But you guys have any more questions, please utilize, like I said, if you got the question mark, the question, the word question, or a capital letter Q before your question, that help. Also, thank you, Lois, for being here this morning, North Carolina. Thank you for putting the hashtag up there, fast and prayer for Daniel. Also, thanks so much for everything you do. Thank you, Valerie, for being here as well, off the Facebook side as well, coming out into this Q&A to support. I really appreciate you as well. Also, Nissa, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And thank you for everything you do. And thank you for putting that hashtag. I really appreciate your love and your support. Really means a lot. I really appreciate you. Also, thank you, Ellen, off the Facebook side. God bless you as well. Thank you. I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving, you and your family. All of you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Ambrosia, thank you so much for being here off of Facebook as well. Got Junebug. Thank you, Junebug, for being here as well. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you. Thank you. I need those prayers. Thank you for coming off the YouTube side. Also, Shiro's Nation. You guys, thank you, Shiro Nation. I really appreciate your constant support. You guys, if you want to, go to Shiro's Nation's channel. Very good content over there, you guys. And everything's accurate. Everything's accurate. She put a lot of time and working up. You know, I can imagine how much work she put in her channel. I've been trying to get some things done on the YouTube side of the channel, and I don't get it how much it takes a lot of dedication, because it's hard to try to do some of the things I see Shiro Nations, for instance, do on her channel, and to be able to get that content and put it in the way you put it in and things like that. It's a lot of work. It's not an easy trail. So I you know, there's a lot of hard work into it, but I'm grateful that you actually look into the facts of things. So I really appreciate that, and you guys need to check her channel out. And thank you so much for showing up and joining here on this Q&A, and like I said, supporting. Also, thank you, Barry, for being here. and coming to support as well, and also being a moderator and also a team member. So I really appreciate that, and also all your hard work and everything you do in the background. God bless you for that. Love you for that. Thank you so much. Thank you, Tracy, for being here this morning. I really appreciate you coming in from the YouTube side. Thank you, Brooke, for being here. Good morning to you as well. Thank you for coming off the YouTube side. And also T and Wildflower, thank you for your constant support as well. You constantly coming in and supporting. I really appreciate you. And thank you again, Anissa, for the super chat. You know, like I said, you just constantly support. I really appreciate it. It was really great speaking with you as well. But I really thank you so much. That's really kind of you. And you and your husband. I really appreciate you both, and thank you again. Thank you again for constantly supporting, and God bless you. We are here for one purpose, to help find Daniel. We proudly stand beside you every minute of every day, Mr. Robinson. You are not alone, and that's what I was saying, you guys. That means a lot. That means a lot, and thank you, Nissa. Thank you so much. Like I said, thank you for speaking with me the other day. And I really appreciate me and my team member. I really appreciate you coming on the ambassador meeting the other Thursday. So I really appreciate that. Really appreciate your time, and thank you so much for the super chats and stuff and your support and your love. God bless you for that. Thank you so much. Also, I want to say thank you, Aaron, for your hard work, everything you've been doing. Like I said to you on the text messages, and also in the behind the scenes, thank you so much for what you do. It don't go unnoticed. I really appreciate you as a person. Happy holidays to you as well. Your love and constant support. God bless you. PM Channel, thanks for being here as well. As much as time as you can supporting as well. I really appreciate it. Good morning to you. And I really thank you. And everybody in the chat, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. Again, don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button, you guys. Right now, especially if you just the first time here, please share it with someone else, and we can try to get this channel built up some more. Like I said, it's not a typical YouTube channel where you may see a lot of content things moving around for different cases and stuff, and whatever people talk about on YouTube. This is to help find my son. We'll keep his name relevant, to try to reach out and get that person who may know something. They may run into this channel, whatever the case may be. We definitely need you to hit that like, share, subscribe, make a little small comment. That helps with the algorithm as well. So definitely I need that help. I need that help and that support with that to grow this channel even farther, to reach a bigger audience in the sense to get Daniel's story out. This is not a entertainment channel, of course, but it's an informational channel to be able to get Daniel's story out there. So thank you, Lois, for putting that up there as well. All right, thank you, Aaron. Again, you have a question here, and I really appreciate your question. And thanks for being here again. Is it that second well site where you found the objects in the well? Yes, that's the 2-mile mark. You know, the story is from this guy. You go 1 mile west and 2 miles north. If you go 1 mile west, which makes it to that T junction that he's always talking about, you make that right turn. And once you make that right turn, if you go 2 miles, you'll pass the first well site, but you'll make it to that second well site. That is 2 miles up from that T junction. So the way I look at it, you guys, like I told you guys before, I don't know, but what people would show me, right? It's almost like the same thing. I'm looking at how law enforcement handled my son's case, Buckeye, I'm saying to be specific. And they're just going by a man's story. Of course, I'm a novice. I'm just a father looking for my son, and I have to go by what I'm being told too, right? Don't have those kind of tools that law enforcement have. So I hear a story from a guy that told the law enforcement on day one, Officer Cruz is his name, that my son was at the well site at 9 o'clock, and so on. That's the time, 9 o'clock. That was fresh in his head. He knew what time it was. It is fresh in his head. And then later on to fix that, you say 9:30. But no, you had to 9 o'clock. Let's go by your what you told me as well. He told me that as well personally. So same story he told the law enforcement. He told me that. He said not only once, he did it twice, as far as I know, probably more than that, but twice to me. What law enforcement told me, what they put in the report as well, Officer Cruz, and what he told me face to face is at 9 o'clock. That's the time that they arrived at well site. The other part is, like I said, he said you go 1 mile west and 2 miles north. when I first went to that well site, of course, I've been directed by Matrix New World. And I can tell he tried to pretend like he knew where he was going, Daniel's supervisor. And when I followed him into that desert, he got confused at the T junction, and then we started going north, up north up the right way. Eventually, um, he stopped at this area and said, "Oh, this is where the well site." We was looking around, and there's a corral. It's an old corral for cattle there. Cattle poop all over the place. We was walking around there trying to find this well. They didn't know where it's at. Then we drove up a little bit farther, and then next thing you know, I was told, "Oh yeah, well, whatever well he saw first, yeah, this is the well that Daniel was at." So all this time, you guys, when I was out there in the desert, going by the story, and didn't know to look at the distance between that at the time, we were going by that first well site and saying this is the well that Daniel was last seen, right? Not knowing there was a well farther up north. I found that out through my searches. We were searching around that well, and my searches kind of spread it out. And that's when we found the second well that's actually the 2 mile mark well. That's the same well that like you said, there's all those objects and stuff was found in. That's the well that I would say in my investigation where this all happened at. It made more sense to the story when the guy said, "Hey, look, he was standing off in the desert." I told you guys that first well site, there's so much vegetation around that thing. I'm like, where he would be staring off at? This was before they cut all that off. And but you go to that second one, you can kind of see where a person could look off, which I'm not saying that's what my son did, but I can say it's possible for you have a better vantage point from that point because the brush is not so high in that area. But I still don't believe that story because it don't make sense. But the thing is, what I'm saying is, you guys, the two out to that 2 mile mark will take you to that second well site further north. And so, of course, that's another thing where the indication where Buckeye and the FBI should be looking into that well. There's also the video footage I have you guys. I've been doing on this Q&A where I even have forensic expert from one from New York. I didn't use this guy because of other reasons, but had suspicions. Also used some forensic expert from in Arizona to look at from other places look into it, and they have questions about that possibly being a skull, but they want to see how far it off in the dirt, and they want other eyes to look at it as well. So, but that's enough to raise the question to have that well resumed, and to pull get those items out of there to see what the person or persons was covering up. It's obvious the dirt mounds that you guys seen on the objects that's down there that suggest the dirt mound is sitting outside the desert, outside the well as well. It's a big one, tall one where they can dig from and put all that dirt down in there to cover something up, right? So on top of all of that. So anyway, we can go back over that and rehash that. But Aaron, that's exactly like you said. The second well site is where the items was found inside that well. That is suspicious. That have appearance of a skull in the bottom of it, and also all the things that was dumped in to weigh something down and to cover it up with dirt. So that type deal. So yeah, all of that need to be looked into by law enforcement, by the FBI. But we're gonna have that. I'm gonna keep pushing that as well. Also, thank you, Tracy, for being here. Thanks for the hashtag fast and prayer for Daniel. You guys, thanks so much for putting the hashtags up for your channel. And thank you, Tracy, for being here. Also, thank you, Brooke, for being here. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your love. And I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming into this Q&A. Clumsy, thank you so much for coming again. I really appreciate you being here as well. And thank you, Mr. Gus, for being here. Thank you. So good morning to you, and thank you for your prayers, and thank about me and my family. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. You're changing many of us, and I thank God. Give God glory. I really appreciate that, sir. Thank you so much for that as well. Thank you, Athena. Thanks so much for being here off the YouTube side. Oh, Gizla, thank you, Grizzla, from Grizzly True Crime. That's what a pleasure and an honor to have you here this morning. Thank you for your love, and thank you for all that you have done and showing all the Grizzlies that's out here. I'm sure that's been supported from day one and constantly supporting. I'm really grateful to see you out here as well. And you guys, thank you for Gizla as well. Like I said, help this YouTube channel. She's one. I tell her what I needed, and she put this YouTube channel together, help me get that stuff going. And I really appreciate you, and I really appreciate your hard work. And you're another one if you guys can go to Grizzly True Crime and definitely check out her channel, all the content there, the stories, showing so much love into other families' cases, get the information out there. So you guys, that really, if you guys want to know a lot about missing person cases and things that's going on out there, you guys, and some other things, you guys go check out her channel as well. Gives them do a whole. That's what I'm saying. You and some of the others. I'm trying to figure out you guys how you get put so much content together and put it together. That's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. So you guys has been a lot of work put into her channel as well. And thank you, Gisela, for being here, showing your love, and thank you for all the stuff you do in the background, like working with this YouTube channel and some other things. I really appreciate it. God bless you for that. Thank you, Shauna, for being here this morning, moderating, being part of the team, board member. Thank you so much as well for being here and supporting. Again, I really appreciate you. Love you too. T and Wildflower, thank you so much for being here. God bless you. And thank you for constantly being the support here. Levita, thank you so much for being here as well. And also, I want to say thank you, good morning to you, and thank you for coming from the YouTube side. And Esther, thank you so much for being here. You guys, thank you so much, everybody. I'm going to come down to the comment section now, and I want to, keep going down so I can find some of these questions, make sure I don't run out of time. But I want to make sure I get all the questions that I can. And thank you, Terry, for being here, and I really appreciate it. He is America's son. I really appreciate that too. He is America's son. Thank you for your love. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Terry. I have a question here from Clumsy. Thank you, Clumsy, for your question. Thank you for putting the word question there, your question marks for your question. Did Daniel speak to Steve the day he went missing, or just Kenneth? Well, I think he did. If I'm not mistaken, I did see a phone call, missed call. I don't, like I said, the communication. If they had answered that phone call, is very short. I do see a missed call that he had sent to Daniel, and then Daniel called back. Now, like I said, I don't know if the call was missed. Looking at the record, but I don't know if the call was actually missed, or just like with the voicemail and Daniel left a voicemail. I don't know from his end, but from Daniel's end, he did reach out to Ken before. I'm sorry, to Steve before he's speaking to Kenneth. So that type deal. So that was early before Daniel supposedly went to that well site that he talked to his one of the guys, Steve, from Matrix New World. Right. So thanks so much for that question. I hope I answered that question for you as well. If you guys have any more questions, I have a question here for Shauna. Thanks, Shauna, for a question. Oh, well, I don't have a question for Shauna. Thank you, Shauna, for putting that out. Ask your questions here. Put a capital letter Q, the word questions, or a question mark for easy citing. That do help me out. I really appreciate it. Thank you also for putting this up as well. Like, share, and subscribe, you guys. Please do that as well. I really appreciate it, guys. They help the algorithms grow this channel and reach out to as many people as I can. Also, thank you, little Meech. Thanks so much for being here this morning. Thank you for thinking about me and my family. God bless you and everybody that you love as well. Thank you, Sean, for putting this up. Hashtag fast and prayer for Daniel. You guys can put that on your social media. Again, that will help with the algorithms and things like that. So, and if you want to reach out to me again, thank you, Sean, for putting information out. If you need to reach out, please send an email to pleasehelpfinddaniel@yahoo.com, or you can use that number. Like I said, we see on the bottom of the screen to reach out to me as well. But you guys need flyers, want to be a part of the ambassador program, whatever, that type of stuff. You can reach out to us, pleasehelpfinddaniel@yahoo.com. 803-200-7994 is the number. So definitely. Criminal Justice, thanks for being here. Crime and Justice, thanks for being here. Thanks for your prayers as well. I do have a question here from Clumsy. Again, thank you, Clumsy, for putting that question mark there and the word question. There has been some reports of Daniel being seen after he left the work site by a federal law enforcement officer cleaning his car out in the desert. Has this been confirmed? Well, that story is, that part of the story is very sketchy and problematic. Couple things, Clumsy, is that this guy, he did call himself a federal law enforcement officer. He was approached. They approached me. When I say approached me, is my one of my former search coordinators, and he brought him to my attention. Said, "Hey, this guy, he's a federal law enforcement officer." The guy showed his badge and everything. saying he's an officer. He's out. He told me who he was, and he did give me the story about that he wanted to tell me about. He seen my son that day. He was missing. But the thing is, I really was really hesitant for that reason. 'Cause sometimes you feel certain things in your spirit, and I didn't want to be judgmental, but I did kind of dismiss them off to my investigator. I said, "Yeah, you need to go talk to my investigator." Had the guy to send him to my investigator, and the vet his story, to hear his story and vet it. I did check in with my investigator. He said, "Oh yeah, we vetted story. We vetted story, and he was there, and blah blah blah." So I felt more confident in that story. Listened to the guy's story. He was able to come to me again. I listened to his story. He told me that he saw my son twice that day. Of course, first time he saw him through the scope of his rifle, his vehicle from afar off from the scope of his rifle. I didn't like hearing that, of course, but he did say that that's where he saw him first. The second part is, you guys give me my cell phone.
I didn't understand that.
My cell phone want to talk right now. But definitely he said he seen him through the scope of his rifle, and then the second time he said he saw his vehicle again near the banks of the Wagner Wash, Hassan River type deal. And he said that's when he approached the vehicle and he saw my son out in the vehicle, of course, like he was cleaning his car. And he said the guy that Daniel was very nice to him, taught his children, and he said his question was to him, is this the area that he need to be practicing with his rifle, shooting, whatever? And he said that Daniel directed him to the proper place to go. No, you don't shoot here. We work here in this area. You need to go blah, blah, blah. That's where they go shooting at, that type deal, right? There's all fine and dandy. I was out there telling you guys the story and very confident. Hey, this guy seen it. The guy said he seen Daniel around 1 o'clock. That's what he told myself and told me and my investigator around 1 o'clock that day. But then my investigator got the information back from the infotainment system that says it was from California, that it was roughly around 1 o'clock when the initial crash, the first crash happened on this vehicle. That's when the guy's story changed. When he heard that, he changed his story. Oh, I seen him around 10 o'clock. Changed from 1 o'clock to 10 o'clock. That was a red flag right there. The other part is that made me look at him a little different, but I still wanted to get more information from this guy. Hindsight. The other part is that was problematic. And we had this guy from one of the YouTube sleuths or whatever you call the people. How you say it? Internet sleuths or whatever you call them. The guy went in and came to one of my searches when I was going out of town. This time of the year, the ironically, it was around November last year, and came out. I couldn't make a search. I had to go home for my family, like I'm doing now, to bring in Thanksgiving. And but we had to search that Saturday, and he went out there to the search with my former search coordinator. And make a long story short, he was really uptight because I guess he wanted to hear a response back from me or something. But he put the man information out there in the public, in the middle of me trying to get information from this guy who said he last seen my son, get more information. He was really sharing some stuff with me, but he put his man information out there in the public, in spirit, and caused damage to the case, my investigation, because the guy shut down and didn't want to talk anymore. But the long story with that, you guys, the thing is, this guy who said he was a federal law enforcement officer, after hindsight, finding out information about him, he's not. He's denying that he ever showed me a badge. He showed us badge many times. And also he's denying that he ever said he was a federal law enforcement officer. And there's some good reasons why. I'm not going to put it out here, why he's saying that now, because he's gotten in trouble for that before. I just said that part of it. And the thing is, but the other stuff that was very problematic, in my view, of the person that he is, made me question his whole story. And then I start looking at him more of a suspect, right? And the way I look at it. But anyway, in January of this year, I did mention that to the Buckeye Police Department, because they say they did talk to the guy finally, because he told me before this guy went on internet and put his information all out there in the public and messed this thing up. I did get information. I was talking to this guy, and he said, "Hey, Buckeye finally want to hear my story." Finally, after almost a year, finally want to hear my story, and I have a meeting with them today. He went up there, and he told me he's gonna call me when he come out of there. He didn't. I didn't hear from him for like 3 days. And finally got in contact when he said, yeah, he had an interview, and he was verified, because I talked to Buckeye, like I said, this year, and they said, yeah, they spoke with him and they believe his story. Ask them. They vetted stories. Yeah, we vetted. He seen Daniel. That's they believe. They believe his story, right? Problem is with that, like I said, that is poor police work. You ask me. Poor police work. Just like they just taking the man's story at the well site. They're taking this guy's story too, just at face value, in my opinion. The problem is Shiro's Nation. I just showed you guys her. Speak to Smoke about her. Shiro's Nation. If you guys can go on her channel, like I said, very logical person. The way she think, I really appreciate her. She came out right on this Q&A. This Q&A is very important. That's why your questions and things like that is important because it helps me out too. It helps me think sometimes some areas where I may miss. One thing I did miss is what she asked the question. Simple question. Well, Mr. Robinson, how can your son give this guy directions where to shoot? Where he said he told me that my son Daniel told him, hey, you need to go over there. That's where they shoot in that area, right over there. But that's where the target, where they go target practice, and that's where you should be going. Shoot your rifle. How can he give directions to a place he never been before? He never been out there in this desert. He never been out there in that part of the Sonoran Desert at all. He never been off the Sun Valley Parkway. This is his first time ever going there. And so why would he know anything about that area, that desert, where to go shooting and blah, 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 and so on, so on, if that's his first time? And that made a whole lot of sense to me. So I put that in combination with everything else I had that would make me question this guy's story. And that's what I'm saying. I don't vet his story. His story is not vetted, in my opinion, in my investigation. Like I said, again, that'd be more of a suspect type deal. That's stuff that I'm saying that's poor policing when you can say this by face value what somebody tell you, and that is it. I need to see the cell phone pings and say he was out there, so on, so on, so on. That kind of stuff. And I'm saying those things are hindered because if the police department, if they're saying it's a missing person case, that means that they don't have to legally do anything for Daniel. I want you guys to be understand that as well. Legally, the Buckeye Police Department don't have to do nothing for Daniel, right? That's where they feel like they can get off on. They can do this shoddy work, and there's no consequences behind it. Because the day they ever say that it's a criminal case or anything like that, and they doing the stuff they're doing right now, they be highly responsible. They get really, they know what they're doing. I'm sure they're talking to their little city attorney or whatever they got going on, and that's my opinion. And could do shoddy work like that because there's no consequences behind it. Because first thing they'll say, hey, he just a missing persons case. We did all of this in this missing person case. We don't really have to do that. We don't have to go talk to this guy and ask him questions or whatever. Oh, he coming to here and ask him a question. But I'm saying they're not digging into his story. They don't have to go without this being a criminal case or a possible criminal case. They'll say, oh, they'll have behind the thing of, oh, we can't get a warrant to go look at his cell phone or to go get his phone record or do this and do that. Yeah, that's true. Because they don't want to. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes you guys, like I'm saying, you don't push them and get things done in your person's case or whatever. That's exactly what it'd be. Law enforcement to do it in a way where it save them money. They ain't really got to look into it. It's not their loved one. Because you best believe, boy, if it's one of those officers, their children or anything, man, they've turned heaven and hell over to try to make sure they turn this to a criminal. They're going to find out what happened to their loved one, their child. But that's not the case with Daniel because he don't belong to them. All right. Question here. Thank you, Shauna, again for putting this information out. Have you shared the petition? We need more voices. Guys, go to change.org or you go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com and hit the petition signal there. Definitely, say go in there and hit that petition and put your voice on there. I call it putting your voice to the petition because it's your voice. You guys believe in everything I'm doing. You're supporting everything I'm doing here in Arizona, searching for my son. It's all of that. It's all of that in the petition. I do have to update it again, but it's all of that, you guys. If you support what I'm doing and what I'm saying, then yeah, put your voice there. And if you have multiple email addresses, you can do it multiple times. That is your voice amplified. That's why I look at it. But definitely would like to have your voice. Definitely have to have your voice. Also, thank you, PM Channel, for being here as well. Thank you again, Chunky Dior. Thank you so much for being here. Pran, thank you so much. I didn't know that. Okay, Pran, thank you so much. I didn't know you go to school with my son. And I don't know which one it was, but thanks so much for being here. I'd like to hear people that know Daniel, especially his age group know Daniel, and you guys can really testify about the person that Daniel is. But thank you so much. I wanted to tell you thank you, Chunky DR. And I want that kind of put me up to a point. I want to share some pictures because I want this to really be about Daniel. I didn't want this to really be about the police department today. I want to concentrate on the whole concentration mainly. I wanted this Q&A to be today is on Daniel. This is another month, you guys, that Daniel went missing. June 23rd last year, every month we put a day, put these fast and prayer for Daniel to, ask God for answers and things like that. But it's also a, time for us as family. Every month passing by, the clock is ticking. It's getting longer and longer that, Daniel's been missing. So if you guys, we have a call to action as well. I like this hashtag I see here, call them out, hashtag call them out, hashtag call them out. Thank you so much, Shauna, for that. Thank you, T and Wildflower. I really appreciate that. That's definitely very helpful. Call them out, call them out, call them out. And thanks so much. And this one right here, you guys, call to action. Thank you, Shauna, for putting that up. Don't want to forget, you guys, Tipline Police Department, call to action. And I want to put this up real quick again. Tipline Police Department, you guys need to, if you can, I'm asking you guys if you want to. It's all in your discretion. But I want to tell you guys, if you can, please, by all means, hit up these departments. This is a public website I'm putting up here. And let's see if I can get this up. Again, I do this every for the Q&As. And let me see if I can, I'll take this off real quick here. But I do this on the Q&As. And please, if you guys can, that's information there. Go to that website there. That's a public website. And what I'm asking for you guys is to do what I'm trying to do. Kind of back me up in a sense. What I'm doing is I'm reaching out to these departments again. I'm having meetings with them, you guys. You best believe I have meetings in the background. I'm doing everything I can as a father, trying to set up everything I can. Whether they accept me or not, I'm gonna keep pushing. I'm just documenting. As long as one thing, when you put in requests, the good part is you always document those things. Those things are requests always something they can't say, well, you didn't request it, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. And I can say, hey, I came to you about X amount of times, and those things are documented, right? I keep records. And the thing is, the Tempe Police Department, again, from their aspect, from their part, and call to action. My son is a resident of Tempe. You see all these officers right here. This is the chief here, Chief Glover, Assistant Chief Anderson there. I don't know the rest of these guys, but these two guys I do talk to, so I do know the chief and the assistant chief. I do know those two. But the thing is, and I told them they know this. I'm a father, they fathers. Men, we're gonna do what we got to do for our children, right? We're gonna fight. We're gonna fight hard. We're gonna fight hard, right? And one of the things, my son is a resident of Tempe, resident of Tempe, and you can do a lot of community work. I give Tempe doing a lot of community work. One thing I tell you guys again, I went to their city council meeting. Chief Glover and Chief Anderson have been doing nothing but being nice and very kind. Like I said, it's the empathy that I'm saying that people show that means a lot to families. I got the same, believe it or not, in Phoenix, the Phoenix Police Department, same thing, same kind of response. I got the same response from the Sheriff of Zone's office, same response. When I say response, meaning the empathy and the way that they approach you and listen to what you got to say. I give them that. Went to the city council meeting, the mayor of Tempe, his man, Woods, Mayor Woods of Tempe, Arizona. He also, like I said, opened his doors 3 times to me. Also talked to me at the city council meeting. So, like I said, I give them that. Give them all that as a person, as a human being, as a person who actually showed empathy and love. I get that. But when we get past that part there, all that don't translate to action, though. You know what I'm saying? It don't translate to action that I need for my son. And if any father going through what I'm going through, any father could see for his family, he got to protect Daniel's mother and I are not married. We're divorced. But at the same time, I got to protect her as well. So the thing is, anytime a man standing there and his child is missing or anything like that, or something happened to his child, of course, I'm going to point out the problem or what they can do, right? You can be the nicest person in the world. You can smile. You can say nice things. But no, my son is missing, you know. So I appreciate all of that. At the same time, I got to push farther. And what I'm saying, my son is a resident of Tempe, you guys. Like I said, there's indications of things that can happen in his apartment. There's also the fact that the guy's story, and and the fact that I reported to them first. They the ones sent me to Buckeye, Arizona, all because of what we didn't know hindsight. Of course, I get it. We know hindsight that this man's story don't match. Where he was last seen? Well, he was last seen by this guy to say he waded off in the desert. I guess that type deal. They didn't know that. They didn't even know that at the time. The only thing I just mentioned was the White Tank Mountains. I said, oh, they said, they say. They didn't say who said. They say. I don't even know who to say at the time. Say he was at by the White Tank Mountains. I just got that from Dane's job. But the Tempe Police Department pushed me over to Buckeye. Right? Oh, well, he last seen there. They didn't even do it. The Tempe Police Department didn't want to do a drive-by or check welfare check that I requested of them as well. First, they had to go through Buckeye to call them and say, "Hey, can y'all do a drive-by to his thing?" So that's another thing. But the whole point is, my son is a resident of Tempe, and like I told Mayor Woods, what can you do? What can you do as my son being a citizen of the state? I see them have this community stuff going on. Helping the children, that's really beautiful and nice and kind and all of that. But when it comes to this crime stuff, these guys here, what can you do? And that's the reason why I had those meetings with them. What can you do for my son? This is your citizen. This my son went missing while living in your city, right? What can you do? And so that's what I'm doing. You guys, they bear a lot of responsibility as well. Tempe Police Department. Also, you guys, I have the sheriff's zone office, right? And he's the sheriff. Let me put this back on the homepage. I don't know how to get off, but he's the sheriff of Maricopa County, right? My son went missing in Maricopa County. I told you guys before, Maricopa County encompasses Buckeye, Goodyear, and I'm trying to name some of these cities in between West Valley, they call it, for Phoenix, right? West of Phoenix. And also it covers east of Phoenix, which is Tempe. All of that is in the same county. And we all know the county sheriff's department is the big boy, right? He's a big boy. And the big boy can look at what's going on in this case. He see all the stuff that's going on. Don't help the law enforcement. Don't help the blue. And that's what I'm saying. The problem is with this officer, again, Sheriff Zone, very nice man. I met him. He sat down with me and had a conversation with me. Meeting, took a time off in his own schedule to do that. And I really appreciate him and his team. Showed a lot of love. Listened to what I had to say. He even pulled me to the side at the end of the meeting and gave me his condolences, him and his wife. And really, really nice guy. I really appreciate him as a man. He seemed like a man of his word and all that stuff. At the same time, same breath, not take away from him from the character person he is. That's him right there. Not taking away from the character person he is, because he's a very good man. But I'm taking the point is that actions to me means a lot more, right? At least a lot more, especially when you have the capacity to do so. You have a father out here fighting hard for his son in the desert, and you can stand back and you can watch that being a father yourself and not do what you can do. And I'm saying, if what you can possibly do, know what you can do as a sheriff is to become the big boy and don't worry about some political, oh, it's going to look political or whatever case may be, and go take on a case that you see is not being handled correctly. And it's his jurisdiction. It's his responsibility as the sheriff. You know what I'm saying? So you guys have seen the things that happened in Daniel's case. I end up with Daniel's things that should have been in an evidence locker. I have evidence and things like my investigator now that I hired to give them physical evidence of foul play. And the Buckeye Police Department had done nothing with it. You guys, you see all the damage that's been done. If anything comes out later on that shows foul play that happened to my son, imagine what these departments had to go through. Because the first thing I'm going to say is, I gave y'all this, y'all know this information. First of all, you didn't act upon it. You did, and then the way the Buckeye Police Department handled this case, and y'all double down and trying to help the Buckeye Police Department instead of helping me, that's a problem. They damaged the case. If something happened, God forbid, and they find something happened to my son, I can see a defense attorney being able to get this criminal off because of the way that the Buckeye Police Department handled my son's case. So that's what I'm saying. The salvage whatever we got left, you guys. That's what I'm trying to do. So what I'm doing, we should say call to action, is you guys can, if you like to, not like I said, that's something you guys can do on yourself. If you like to, please, by all means, that's the phone numbers there, the website, mcso.org is for Maricopa County. And then, you go to Tempe Police Department as well. I'll say what Tempe is, their website would be tempe.gov. And, go to those agencies and put in some words, whatever you want to say, Hey, but what I'm aiming for, a call to action is that I want my son's case moved over. I want the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office to open up a new case, the Tempe Police Department to open up their own individual case. They don't need Buckeye. You guys have so much stuff out there, and the stuff that Buckeye have is mostly the things I have given them. They have been taking some credit for things that had to fix up later. They try to take credit for human remains found out there. Some people get so confused. They think the Buckeye Police Department found those human. No, my searchers found those human remains. Buckeye haven't found a construction cone out in the desert. They don't want to. You got to remember, Buckeye Police Department Chief Hall was suspended for them falsifying documents about crime statistics in Buckeye. He got suspended for that, and they'll falsify a document because they don't want nobody to think that Buckeye is dangerous. It is dangerous, and so of course they're not going to find it. If they did, they're not going to report it or something, And so the thing is, I'm saying, you guys, I just really need you guys to, if you're gonna write letters, make phone calls, things like that, to these departments. My thing is they should be handling my son's case. They should alienate that from Buckeye. They don't need Buckeye. Oh, this is Buckeye. Why is this Buckeye case? Why you can't open up your own case? Forget Buckeye in their case. Open up your own case. You see enough stuff there where you can open up your own case and look into what happened to my son. They can do what they want to do. I'm telling you guys over and over again. We see prime examples over and over again. I don't keep bringing up the Tito case, for instance, but we see the way that law enforcement, if they want to, you have jurisdictions from all over this country joining in on the Petito case to find out what happened to that young lady, which I'm gratefully and glad they did. That family needed that. They needed that. It depends on the person, though, the way that law enforcement decide the way they work. They can do what they want to do. They find ways to do what they want to do. If they really don't want to do it, you see what happened. That's what happens right here in my son's case. The same thing. They just don't want to do it. And they'll hide behind the shield of, this policy says this, or the law says this. I can't. That's their case, and I can't impede on their case. I got open your own damn case. You know what I'm saying? It is simple. It's simple stuff. Open your case. Enough information out there that you can find. Say, if they want information, I got it for them. And I told them that over and over again. They have it. Matter of fact, they have everything that whatever Buckeye have, they have it already. I have it. Buckeye ain't finding nothing new that I don't have. Matter of fact, most stuff they got probably came from me. That's what they get from me. My work. I had to cut them off. I had to cut them off to a point where I started looking at it like, wait a minute, they calling me, asking me what I got. I'm giving them stuff. Like, I don't work for the Buckeye Police Department. You know what I'm saying? So they need to get off their behind and go look for my son and do their job. They should be equally matching the things that I've been finding. They should be equally matching, finding it for themselves. I'm not on their payroll. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, they on my payroll because it's my taxes, my son's taxes that paying their salaries. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the case may be, y'all taxes that paying their salary. So, that type deal should be the other way around. Call to action again. Thank you, Shauna, for putting us up. Sheriff of Zone. That's the information there for both you guys, MSO and also the Tempe. Those two, you guys. The information there in the chats. Thanks so much, Wendy, for putting us up as well. I look for some more questions. You guys have any more questions, please? I see PM channel here with a question. Any updates, information, or progress in your conversation with Sheriff Paul Pizzone? We know what I've been. One thing I'm really disappointed with, like, even if I'm saying all these great things, One thing I'm disappointed though with the sheriff so far right now is the promise. When I've been promised something, when two men look in the eyes, and also when in the Tippy too as well. You got men looking you right in the eye. When men look where I come from, men look in your eye and you say something, you better mean it, right? You don't be shady and lie on the case. I ain't say they lying or anything. All I'm saying is don't give somebody a promise you don't keep, right? I've been waiting on this meeting for several months now, right? They promised me a meeting. It was a big meeting with all of them together, right? Supposed to have this meeting to discuss my son's case, where we can go forward and things like that. And I haven't gotten that yet. I got a meeting. I heard got feedback. They had a meet again. This I'll tell you. The blue. This is what the blue do. Take me out of the meeting. Have their meeting on themselves and tell me what they come up with. No decision making wasn't based on a father who's out here effectively with you guys. I'm saying effectively doing things on the ground. Let's cut them off instead of working with them. For me, it feel like it's plotting against me to give me what they want to give to me, right? They put their stuff together, how we can twist us and make it work for them, right? Law enforcement, not work for Finding Daniel, how it could work for them to keep them safe or something, or whatever case may be. It's all about that defensive mechanism with law enforcement. And I didn't have that meeting. I'm still waiting on this meeting, right? Another thing, have a meeting coming up. First thing they asking for, oh, who you bringing? Who you bringing? You bringing your attorney? What you worrying about attorney for? It's stuff like that. It's stuff like that. So it to me is all about not about finding Daniel or helping me. It's about them looking out for the blue. That's what it's about. So yeah, the conversation I have is, like I said, very good. Like I said, as a person, he came off as a person of his word, person of integrity to show empathy and things like that. But at the same time, the movement part, I went up there in person to ask, hey, look, this meeting happened. Yeah, I went up there and say, well, he said he's not going to meet with you right now, something like the other, and go talk to Tempe, and we're supposed to have this big meeting together, something like that. And I was like, oh man, that kind of changed kind of quick. so that's the kind of feel I got. But you know what I'm saying? Like I said, as in a person, different department itself, it changed or whatever. So two different things, person, department, even though he's running the department. So I don't know what to say, but as a person, I think he's my view, the impression I got was, like I said, a person of his word, and can show some empathy. But as in the actions, me not having those meetings, I still don't have that. And as well as whatever they hiding behind, and he's the big sheriff, and he can do what he can do. That's the problem for me. I'm telling you guys, that's what a father would do. I'm not gonna this thing because you talk nice to me, and I'm supposed to be okay with that and let my son remain missing while you're not doing something, right? That you kept your word on. That's not going to help. I don't care how nice you are and how empathetic you are, whatever the case may be. I'm going to keep pushing because that's what I have to do for my son, me and mine, right? Wendy, thanks so much for your question. Does the damage on his Jeep line up with the disturbances on the ground at the crash site? My investigator, he looked at the crash site and he said, well, the disturbance, of course, because the vehicle did come down a ravine. That's no doubt about it. But that's a second crash. But the damage that's on the vehicle itself don't match, like you said, the grounding and everything on that terrain, right? A lot of that damage. We also know there wasn't a full rollover of that vehicle's course. That's common sense because the roofing would have been caged in, even though it got some stabilities there, but it would have been crazy. You got no scratches on top of the rack, things, whatever you call it, to say that even came nowhere near contact with the ground. Also, that type stuff. It was no full rollover that Buckeye wanted to suggest and all that kind of stuff. The damage don't match that terrain. It crashed somewhere else, and then it was brought there where, of course, it crashed down the ravine because rather they put in drive or whatever the case, and let it roll on down there, it did make it to the bottom of that ravine. So I'm sure a little damage from that could have happened there as well. So definitely, there's two crashes there. All right. Let's see here. I have let's see, Terry. Thanks so much again, Terry, for being here. Oh yeah. Say, hey, Buckeye Police Department. You're probably right. Like I told you guys before, they told me to watch Q&As. So hello, Buckeye Police Department. Yeah, so yeah, they do watch the Q&As, and they are out and watch. So thank you, Terry, for being here. All right, Clumsy, thanks so much for your question again. The black box from the car data, did it reveal that Daniel Carr was involved in 2 crashes or 1? It was 1. Of course, the infotainment system what determines the rest of that stuff and everything else. That my investigation, I'm not an expert on that kind of stuff, but the initial crash didn't happen there. The second crash, of course, wasn't recorded. Of course, that's something I think the way he explained it, it records that on the 1 crash. The second crash, of course, when it came down the ravine, no, it didn't record that. Of course, that would make sense on the computer side of the thing, the black box data part. But yeah, the first crash definitely was recorded and things like that. So that's all I can tell you on that part. That's based on information I got from my investigator. All right, let's see here. We have, thank you, Anissa, again. Thanks so much again for that super chat. I mean, just really pouring it in. I really appreciate pouring so much love, and I really appreciate that. God bless you again. You and your husband, thank you so much. Question: were you able to access all Daniel's social accounts messages? And was there any activity after he went missing? Please help Van Daniels. Thank you so much for the hashtag. To answer that, yes, we did have access to his social media, and there was no movement and things like that after he went missing. But the messages didn't, like I say, didn't, from what I can tell, didn't show anything that was relevant to any activity that so they missed. Only thing that was really puzzling to me, like I said, that anything that deal with the young lady went missing, of course, in his social media. That's problematic. That's something that law enforcement, like I said, you guys, it's like bad police working to me. It's almost like whatever, you know. But yeah, but they're blaming on him. Daniel, he's the victim, but they're trying to turn around the Buckeye Police Department. That is, turn around and try to make him some type of villain or something, right? They'll try to concentrate on something to make him look, try to villainize him. That's not being a victim. Let's make this other person the victim somehow. The thing is, but yeah, social media account, of course, you guys know on his one of his accounts, his pictures and stuff came off of that. Everything was wiped out of that as well. But yeah, we have access to that stuff, and no, there was no movement from that point. Thanks so much for your question, and thank you so much again for the for the super chats. You're just very wonderful. I really appreciate it. God bless you again for your kindness and your love. Thank you, Nissa. I really appreciate you. All right, I have Clumsy. Oh, thank you so much for your super chat as well. Thanks so much, Clumsy, and thank you so much for your constant support and your love. Like I said, you're a very wonderful, wonderful person, and I really don't. I tell you guys, that makes me happy. I really appreciate that, Clumsy, because I just need that support. It's hard sometimes, get hard, and just to see that love and from you, and I really appreciate it. And you constantly coming in and supporting. So I thank you so much. And we can send an email to Tempe. We got your back. And thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Clemson. I know you do. God bless you. Yes, I definitely need that support. They have my back on that because of what I'm doing in the background and what you guys are doing out here in the public, that matches up, right? It'll match up, and what it does is help me have some kind of how I want to put some power behind what I'm doing in the background. So yes, and thank you again, Clumsy. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much. God bless you for that. God bless you and your family, and for all your love. Also, thank you so much for putting us up at work. Buckeye, I can't find anything because their heads up on the. Yes, I agree with you. I agree with you. All right. Thank you, Clumsy, for your question as well. Kenneth's story seems to change. Has anyone from law enforcement pushed them on why? And that's the thing. Like again, as far as I can tell, this guy has never been to the interrogation room, but me and my daughter have. It's funny when I start looking back at it. You guys, they asked us to come into the police department because we know they didn't get no warrant. They didn't get no warrant. Try to get so when you guys read in the paper, say, "Oh, we obtained phone records or whatever," blah blah blah. I'm like, obtaining phone records, and this is that phone. I keep showing this all the time on Q. This is that phone right here, same phone, right? This phone right here. We're strolling down on right here. Strolling down, showing Daniel's phone records and his bank statement while they sitting on the other side of the interrogation room table, right? And asking us questions. And then they put in a report. We got obtained phone records. They didn't get no phone records, you guys. So phone records will only be got from them is through a warrant or something like that, right? They say they couldn't get warrants because they're not making a damn case of criminal case. They say they couldn't do a criminal case. But the thing is, like I said, when they call us there to ask us about this phone, me and my daughter, they bring us through the front door. They took us through the back. Hey, you got to come through this gate. They took us through this gate. We're behind the building and took us through the back door and put us in this room. And look at the room. I've never been, I'm not a criminal. Never been in no interrogation room. And but I saw it on TV. But hindsight, I didn't know at the time, and I was looking at it in my mind now, thinking about it, I was like, that was a freaking interrogation room. Why would they put us in an interrogation room to ask us anything? You know? So that type deal. But I don't hear anything where anybody else been in an interrogation room or anybody else. Every time I talk to Buckeye and some others, they say, "Oh, I talked to him. Oh, I spoke with him. Spoke in the time. I spoke with him. I spoke when I first came to Arizona. I spoke with this guy, eye to eye, man to man. I want to see this dude look me in my eye and tell me this crap that I've been hearing from law enforcement, right? So, yeah, of course, we all talk to him. Don't mean his story is true because you talk to him, just like Shiro Nation put on because what he's the hero. He looked like a nice person or something. Okay, I don't know how they look at him. So you need to vet the story. The story don't match. Things don't match what you're saying. You coming up on he coming up on these interviews and stuff, changing the story up and all kind of stuff. Now you're talking about he's spinning around in circles. I mean, this new stuff, be coming up all kind of stuff, new stuff. Oh, he was spinning around in circles. What I heard last. Like, no, where'd that come from? If I start writing down everything this dude's saying, which I have, you see how it changed. Like, that's another thing. Okay, now he's spinning. But you remember something about he's spinning. Oh, now I remember that. Now, but why you can't remember what he's wearing? Why you couldn't remember certain things? Why you can't, that type thing. It's really ridiculous. It's really ridiculous when you don't vet a story and you're supposed to be law enforcement and your job is to vet the story. That's the reason why nothing don't match up. That's why Daniel's still missing, and things like that. So they're not doing a job. All right. Thank you, Terry, for your question as well. Thanks for being here. Also, where could we all communicate with the FBI? How do you communicate with them? I'm not sure, as in from the public standpoint. I just personally call the field office. I tried it with the field office in Phoenix, and so we'll go to the one in Washington D.C. now, the main one. But the thing is, how can you communicate with them? I'm not really sure. Other than like I said, reaching out on phone calls. I think you can do things online, but phone calls, that type deal. There's nobody, as far as I know, from the FBI that's really looking into Daniel's case outside of that case briefing, like I told you guys about that I requested, and Buckeye claimed they did with this FBI agent. I talked to that agent, by the way, but want to claim they did, and whatever they said to the person that they said the FBI feel I'm Mr. Robinson doing a better job than they can do to go find my son. So, as in how to communicate with them, I'm not sure because I've been trying myself to get more communication with trying to get Dane's case seen with the FBI. There's so much stuff in this case, you guys, that warrants the FBI. The fact that his vehicle's on federal land, all that kind of stuff. Even it cross it's too close to federal land to say that vehicle didn't cross federal lands too at the same time. So it is so much. If the information I put out there about that whale, all this stuff in there, that prompts the FBI and so much stuff to come into the case. And but anyway, that's one of the things I'm pushing as well. I'm going to continue to push that, Terry, to have the FBI look into my son's case. Also, OD, thank you so much for your question. Hey, David, did you ever get onto Google Earth to see if they scanned that area where the Jeep was? I think they have quite regular updates. I have been doing that, and the updates. Well, I don't know, say frequent updates because the updates I've been getting is some updates before Daniel went missing, and then there was some ones after Daniel went missing. So that time frame, I mean, well before Daniel went missing. So that time frame that I see so far from not just Google Earth, but some other ones as well, it has never gave me the stuff that I need. I know I have one that's closest one was this last year in February, and that was one of the guys, John Q from John QQ from his channel. He reached out to me and showed me. I think he got it from Google. That update and about the fencing on the red paint on the fence or whatever. And that's what I'm saying. I had to talk to him about that or discuss that before. But that picture was done in February. Daniel went missing in June. So that time frame is way before Daniel even knew about Sun Valley Parkway, going to Sun Valley Parkway and things like that. So it's way out of that time frame. So yeah, so I'll be trying to find out information as well, trying to get stuff like that from satellite and stuff like that. It's hard. It's I didn't know. Sometimes looking at the things you guys, you learn a lot in life. It's thousands of satellites out there, and as you know, it's a military base on the other side of White Tank Mountains and Luke Air Force Base, and the jets. When I'm out there in the desert, we see the jets flying past a lot up there. So there's a lot of satellites out there, governmental satellites and things like that. So I'm sure they do, but it's hard to try to get information. I have never gotten anything from a government satellite imagery or whatever. So I think law enforcement can be able to do that. I'm not sure, but there's a lot of it out there. So thanks so much for your question. And let's see, Shauna, thanks so much for pushing this up. You guys, I think I ran out of questions here, but I want to tell you guys that thank you so much again for coming in this. Thank you, Shauna, for putting the information out there. That goes back to who question was that? Thank you, Shauna, for putting that up there. About Terry. Terry, cool. Thanks so much, Terry. And that's the information when you asked where could all the communication, where we all could communicate with FBI. Have Shauna here put the information. Shauna is the foundation secretary. So you guys, very, very helpful. I really appreciate you, Shauna. You're just so amazing in the work that you do. But thanks so much for putting that out there. So definitely, you guys, you can utilize that information as well. But I don't have any more questions. I'll see any more questions. But I was going to say is you guys can please come on this evening's Q&A, so I would have that prayer and fasting, in the fast and prayer with the prayer. So if you guys want to come back and pray with me, and also get some more information about Daniel's case, and just have some questions. We could talk whatever. One thing I wanted to do, and I gave the invitation before, is to have somebody on. If you guys in the chat, so you ever want to just come on here and put your face on the screen, or if you don't want to put your face on the screen, you don't even have to show your face, but just be on the screen and want to ask you questions, want to talk, whatever the case. I want to be able to open that up to you, the floor up to you in the sense too as well, and so you can come on this YouTube and talk. I mean this Q&A and talk. So I put the link down at the bottom of the comment section. I'll probably do it on this evening Q&A because we run out of time now. But this evening Q&A, I'll put the link down, the invitation link. You click on that, you come up on StreamYard. And like I said, you don't have to put your video screen up if you don't want to, but that'd be nice if you could. But yeah, if you want to come on and you want to ask questions, things like that, I can let some people on and things like that. So trying to be more engaging with you guys. You guys have been supporting, like I said, showing your love. I want to show some love back to you as well. But thank you so much, you guys. Thank you, DP, for your information. Satellite industry is what's needed. It is very much so. Thank you, Shauna, again for the hashtag. Don't forget y'all hashtags, you guys, today. Hashtag Fast a Prayer for Daniel. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, DP. Again, thank you. The sheriff is the one who would call in the FBI, and he can do that as well. And so definitely need that as well. Thank you, T and Wildflower, for your constant support. Thank you, Shauna, again. Do you know any other family that needs to spread awareness for their love? Have them reach out to pleasehelpfinddaniel@yahoo.com. That's right. Thanks so much, Shauna, to be a guest on the Q&A. I'm really looking for that. I want to help other families. We have some more events that will be geared to help other families as well, but I want to have you on this Q&A. If you haven't missed a loved one, you want to talk about the story, you want to put out information, please contact us. Contact us on pleasehelpfinddaniel@yahoo.com, and I would like to have you on this Q&A and help you spread. Try to utilize whatever I got. It's not huge and giant, but whatever I have, I just want to be able to share with you as well. So definitely by all means, have that information. Time answers. Let's find Daniel. Thank you, Clumsy. Thank you, Terry. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you. Thank you, Terry, for happy Thanksgiving. I really appreciate Pacific Breeze as well. You're not late, but I really appreciate you being here and showing your support, Pacific Breeze. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your prayers as well. And let me see here. Thank you, Shauna B. And thank you also, Terry, again. You guys, again, like I said, you guys can come back this evening on this evening Q&A. I will appreciate it. The time will be up there for you guys on. As soon as I get off here, I'm going to go ahead and set up for the next one. You had a time where I'm coming on your city, wherever you're at. Definitely is at it's going to be at 6 in Arizona. So you guys, it's going to be 5, of course, if you're in California, 6 in Arizona. Let's see, that's 8 o'clock in the East Coast, and that's 7 o'clock in Central Time. So you guys, PM, all this is PM this evening, prime time Q&A. So I will be putting that up. Like I said, it'll be 6 o'clock Arizona time, 5 o'clock if you're on the Pacific time, in California time, and that would be 8 o'clock p.m. East Coast, 7 o'clock Central Time. You guys, please come back and support the Q&A there. I would love to see you out there, and I'd love to see you this evening and talk to you and pray with you as well. So thank you again, you guys. I'll see if I have any more last comments before I go. And happy Thanksgiving to you, T and Wildflower. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you guys. And those who may not be able to make it, but I'll say happy Thanksgiving to you. God bless you and everybody that you love, your family, your friends. Hope you all can get together and watch some sports like I want to do. I want to finally get to watch some of my football, watch some of the teams that I enjoy, my team that I enjoy. And I am a Falcons fan, if you guys want to know. But we're not doing so well lately, but I'm still a fan. But I just want to be able to do that. And you guys share just spend all the time you can with your loved ones. Sometimes family members can be annoying at times, or you have some things, that family thing that goes on. But I'm gonna tell you something, you guys. It always is, you'll be very. Thank you again, Nissa. You'll be very, very. Life can turn on a dime. That's where I want to put it. Life changes really fast. I lost a best friend this year, over 20 years, and it happened quickly. One day you're here, next minute you're gone. I think the Bible will say like life is like a vapor. It's here today, it's gone tomorrow. And take advantage and make sure you tell the person you love all the time you love them. Well, I was always taught that in disagreements and stuff, don't leave the house mad. Don't let the sun go down on your wrath, and don't let the day go by without saying I'm sorry, or telling your loved one I love you, or whatever the case may be. Squash some of these differences or whatever the case may be, because times can change, things can happen so quickly, and you never have to get the opportunity to say I'm sorry or goodbye or whatever the case may be, and you have to live with that for the rest of your life. So enjoy your families, enjoy your time with your families, and I'll see you this evening. All right, so thank you guys again. God bless you. Talk to you soon.